So up to now, so whatever we have learned about the CSS, those are all the core fundamentals and the core foundations. So we have learned about the box model. We have learned about the different types of selectors. We have learned about the cascading algorithm, how it will works, the 4 stages, how the algorithm works, we have seen it, and also the specificity. So if a CSS is conflicting for an element, means the CSS styles, so what is the specificity for that one? So which one will take it as a priority? And also we have seen about the inheritance concept, which is also very important, how the inheritance plays a role in the CSS also we have seen it. And how we can control the CSS, we are the main things is inherit is the main thing which we will be using more often, and initial is also the one of the thing. Unset we will use the rarely, so but unset, that is nothing but a doing this 2 things of the inherit and also the initial thing. Most probably we'll be using the initial and inherit, but you need to have a knowledge on unset what it will do also. And the last one is the revert. We have seen about the revert also. So what it will try to do is, instead of resetting it to the initial values, it will try to reset to the browser default values. So that is the thing we have learned about the inheritance concept. So these are the different types of values that controls the inheritance. Now these are the core foundations of the CSS which we have learned it. Now let's move on to the another topic. So it's now from here onwards you will be having somewhat easy topics only. So what are the different types of properties which we will be using more often in the CSS? These are pretty straightforward. So let's try to learn about the first concept, that is nothing but a color. Okay, how the color is defined in the CSS. Let's try to see. There are several different ways in the CSS we can specify the color. Okay, color is one of the important concept in the CSS. So there are several different ways we can specify the color. So now we'll try to look at commonly used color values. Let's try to see it. So first one, what I can say is the color which we will be using is the numeric value. If you try to click on this one, yeah, first way of representing is a numeric value. So you people more oftenly you will be using this numeric color representation of this one. It is likely that is your first exposure to colors in the CSS. So now the color, if you try to see, for example, if you try to see any H1 document or anything, so you will be having a color and you will be mentioning something like hash B71540, something like that. This is the example which we will be using. So this is the notation, numeric value. Now this notation is called as an hexadecimal notation. So normally we call it as an hex. So this is the shorthand for the RGB values. Okay, this is the shorthand for the representation of the RGB values. Here RGB means red, green and blue. So for red, green and blue, we assign a numeric values to this one. So which are 3 primary colors. So these are the 3 primary colors. The combination of these 3 primary colors will result to the color what we decided. So these are the 3 primary colors which we will be using more often. So here we have told that this is an hexadecimal representation. This is an hexadecimal representation. So you people will be aware of this one. Hexadecimal representation means it will be having 16 value notation, not like decimal value notation, 10 digit value. So it will be having 16 digit value notation. So 16 digit value means it will start from 0 to 9. So then afterwards it will start from A to F. Okay. Here 0 to 9 normal. A represents the 10. B represents the 11. So like this going on, F represents the 16. So like this you will be having A, B, C, D, E, F. So now RGB, I have told you about the RGB, right? RGB value, it is around, the RGB value will be around, numerical value, it will be around 0 to 255. Okay. So red means we need to mention how much red we want, means we need to mention in 0 to 255, comma, and again the 0 to 255, and also it should be 0 to 255. So like this we need to mention the numeric value between 0 to 255, we should represent it. Now apart from this one, we can also use the alpha value also. Alpha value means nothing but this one also we can represent using the numerical value. The alpha value is nothing but the percentage of transparency what we want it. So in hexadecimal code, so I have written it right, in hexadecimal code at the end you can add another 2 values, 80 or anything, something like this, which represents the alpha transparency, how much transparency you need for the color. So this one is also an hexadecimal code. Now normally what I can say is the transparency means, so you can say that 00 means it is a 0%, and if you try to see 80 means it is nothing but 50%, and 75% if you want to represent means something like BF. Okay, so this one will be around 75%. Okay, like this you will be having representation. So how can I say that 80 is a 50% and all those things? How we can say it is, for example, let's say that we are having BF, right? So B and F. So here B represents, B is equal to 11, right? So B is equal to 11. Are you able to understand? So B is equal to 11, and in this B is equal to 11. So B is equal to 11 means 0 to 9, A is 10 and B is 11. So B is equal to 11. So this one should be multiplied with the 16. Okay, so this results around something like 176. 11 into 16. Why? Because this is hexadecimal notation. So that is the reason we are using 11 into 16. And next number is nothing but F. So we have a F. F means it is the last value, that is nothing but the 15 number. Okay, so 15, 0 to 9 and F comes the 15. And what we need to do? So we need to do 176 plus 15. So this results around 191. Okay, so out of this 0 to 255 value, we know that 0 to 255 value, the 191 means exactly it is 75% of the value. Okay, for example, if you take 80 hexadecimal code, so what you need to do? You need to calculate into something like 80 into 16. So it will be around something like exactly half of this 0 to 255 value. In between it will be having. Plus 0 means you will not have anything. So like this we will be converting hexadecimal to numeric number. Digital number means, decimal number means. So we will be using like this. So anything which you will be having, it should be around 0 to 255. So here R value, red value, how much it is occupying means. So you need to have B7 means, red value means it will be around 0 to 255 decimal value. And you can calculate B into 16 plus 7 we need to add it. So like this you will be having. So this is how we will be calculating the hexadecimal value. Apart from this one, the color value what we will be using is Rgb values. Rgb values, I already told you that it should be something like 0 to 255. Okay, 0 to 255 it will be. For mentioning this, what I can say, alpha values. Alpha value means transparency. So we will be using RGBA, and you can mention 0, 0, 0. So RGB. So 0 to 255 I mentioned it here. And here you can mention the percentage, something like 10%, or otherwise you can mention it as 0.1. So that means it should be something around 0 to 1. So 0 to 1, you can mention it 0 to 1, or percentage, 0% to 100%. So how much percentage you want it. So these are the different types of notation we will be having, and another type of notations also we'll have. We'll try to explain it. So this is the basic color representation in the CSS, how we will be having. Let's try to see the basic example, then you'll understand it. So here I'm having a div element. This is the box, and here I will be writing the style. So here I will be using the div element, element selector, and here I'm using the width of 200 pixel and a height of 200 pixel, and we need to have border. So let's try to have a border also, 1 pixel solid. So let's check the color, the font color only, the border color it will apply. And what I want to do here, I want to apply the color for this one. Color is, first one is the numeric value, hexadecimal value notation. So here I can write 0 0 0 0 0 0. So this one is a color black. So here you'll be able to see the color palette, and this one is a 0 0 0 0 0 0 like this. So if you mention this one as 80, then it will become a transparent. First we will try to see 0 0 0 0 representation. If you try to see here, open with live server. So no, okay. Let's try to add it background color instead of color. If you try to see the output, the entire thing is in the black color. If you want to add something like 50% transparency to this one, so what we can do is, here I can apply transparency of 80. 80 means nothing but we have seen the calculation, how it will be. And if you see the output here, see it has converted into transparency. So this is the one way of representation of this one. And also we have another way of representation also, that is nothing but a smallest form of 3-digit value. 0 0 0 we can also represent using like this, and you can represent something like this one also. So then also it will have the same output, something like this, you will have the same output. So this is one hexadecimal type of notation of this value. And next one comes the RGB. So we have seen RGB, and here we should have each value will be represented in 0 to 255 length. If you take 255 comma 255 comma 255, then it will be complete white. Okay, if you take completely 0, it will be completely black. So if you take only the red, only this one, and remaining all, if you keep it as 0, then it will be pure red. If you keep this one as 0 and if you keep this one as 255, then it will be completely green. You will be able to see it. And if you keep 0 this one, so like this, we can play around the combination with this one and we can get the output for here. Okay, I didn't save it, that one, I think. Yeah, I didn't save it. If you try to see here, it will be completely green. So if you want to add a transparency for this one, you can keep comma 0.5. Exactly half transparency it will be applied. See, 50% transparency it is applied. So if you want, you can also give something like 50% also. Like this also you can give the notation. So this is also one way which you can give it. So here, in some places you will be able to see something like this also. 0 space 255 space 0 and slash. You can have something like 0.5 or 50% also. This is also correct. This notation is also correct. With comma oriented, you can mention it like this. Without comma oriented, you can mention the transparency thing with 0 space 255 space. This is also correct. It will also work. This one also will work without any problem. And here it is also trying to show that blue color, green color. So if you try to move cursor here, so it will be changed to like this. So you can able to play around with this one. So this is another way of representation. So we have another way of representation also in the color, that is nothing but a HSL format. Okay, HSL format means, so first one is called as a hue, saturation and a lightness. So if you try to see here, I will try to, we will be using very rarely about this one, HSL CSS. You will be able to have the color wheel. I will try to explain you about the color wheel. Most probably you will be able to see about this color wheel and all those things. So for example, if you try to see here, this is the color wheel, and here you will be having a 0 degrees, 60 degrees like this representation, right? If it is a 180 degrees means then it is a something cyan color. So here H represents the degree. So you can mention something like 180 degrees. And next one is the what is that one? Saturation. Saturation means, what I can say is how vibrant the hue is. So the fully desaturated color means it will be 0%. So it will appear the grayscale. So it will appear in the grayscale. So the last one is the lightness. Okay, if you give 100% means it will be something around white color it will be. So you can say something like what I can say is it will look like something like this. So I can take this image and I can show you. So here if you try to see here, the hue means you can select the degrees here. So whatever the degrees you want, you can select the degrees. 180 degrees means exactly down it will be. 360 degrees means at the top it will be. And the saturation means how much percentage you will give according to that color, that saturation it will take. 0% means completely it will be a grayscale, black and white it will be. If you increase that saturation, it will go on increase the color. And this one is the lightness. So black to like this it will be having. So depending on these scenarios, you can also mention the color of this one. In all the CSS, almost all the properties which we will be using in our CSS, whether it can be a border style, border color, like color, background color, box shadow, everything. So wherever we are using this one, we can use this HSL, RGB format and also the hexadecimal format. We can also have the last one is an HSLA format. That is nothing but the transparency representation. You can also use that something like 50% or 0.5 like this also you can use it. So these are the different ways of color representation which we will be using in the CSS. Apart from this one, there is also another representation of these colors. So which is called as an named colors. There are around 150 named colors in the CSS available. So those are plain English names only, such as purple, goldenrod, yellow, green, white, red. So these are something like named colors. So you can directly give those colors. So white means it will be directly white color. So if you try to give red means it is directly red color. So like this you will be able to have so many colors. So here you will be able to see the list of colors in your editor if you try to see. So dark khaki, dark red, dark salmon, dark green. So like this you are able to have I didn't remember exactly. So you will be having something like 150, 200, something like that named colors you will be having. So these are some of the things. So apart from these standard colors, there are also some of the special keywords also available. So you can mention it as a transparent. So you'll be able to have this special type of keywords, transparent. That means it is a fully transparent color. So the initial value for this background color is transparent only. If you mention that one as transparent, there is no need for us to mention. So default color for this one is initial value. Initial value means which the CSS has a default value. For the background color is transparent only. If you want to mention, there is no need for us to mention the background color as transparent. And you will be able to see the current color. You will be able to observe another one is the current color. So this is a computed dynamic value of the color property. For example, if you have a text color of red and then you want to set the back border color to be current color, then that border color also will be red color only. If the element that you define current color does not have a color defined, then the current color will be computed by the cascade instead. So cascading, it will go on the cascading, which one you will be having, top parent one, it will try to take the inherited property. So for I want to tell you that, for example, if you are having color of red means, so then you want to mention border color. So you want to take that color means, so you can mention current color like this, you can take it. So this will take the default color like this. If you don't mention also, it will happen like that only, but you will be mentioning. If you don't have a color set, at the top you will be having parent, we will be having some color, right? It will take that color. So that is the thing which I want to tell you. So like this, we will be having some of the special keywords also. These type of colors we will be using in something like text decoration, color, text shadow, background, linear gradients. So these are all the different types of color formats which we will be using in the CSS. So first one is the hexadecimal format, next is the RGB format, and the last one is the HSL format. And another one we will be having the named color formats also. You can also use the named colors thing. So these are the different colors which we will be using, in our what I can say in our CSS. So these are the color formats.